Welcome to Agric Today on ARCN Television, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin Amin. This week's episode of Agric Today focuses on the Ministers of Agriculture who in turn review their strategies in which they want to work with. The Minister of Agric on his part said that they are ready to work with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 8-point agenda, which was unveiled in August 28th at the maiden edition of the Federal Executive Council meeting here in the nation's capital. He said they have had meetings with all heads of parastatals under the ministry to ascertain where the sector is and here where they are going at, and as well as to ensure that the menace that has been identified is being worked against. Senator Abubakar said agriculture will be revamped and there is plans to partner with the Ministry of Trade and Investment in ensuring that every commodity that comes out is being exchanged in the right proportion.
Nigerians today and our friends and partners in the agriculture and food security sector on our way forward towards delivering on the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and our strategies of operations over the next 4 years. My colleague, the Honorable Minister of State, and I are totally committed to providing the desired leadership, direction to steer the agriculture and food security sector towards the attainment of the key priorities of Mr. President's 8-point agenda, which was unveiled on August 28, 2023, during the maiden Federal Executive Council meeting. Since our assumption of office on 21st August 2023, we have received several briefings from all the departments and agencies with a view to understanding where we are, what is ongoing, that is delivering the desired results and outcomes, and what needs to give way. Accordingly, we have examined what needs to change and what we need to do to realign existing initiatives and programs that are on course to be in line with the 4 priorities of the renewed hope agenda that are core to the mandates of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. For the avoidance of doubt, the following presidential priorities are our core agenda and are well aligned with the mandates and operations of our ministry. Number 1, food security. Number 2, economic growth and job creation. Number 3, poverty eradication. Number 4, inclusivity, that is for youth and women, and an enabling environment for individuals, groups, and the private sector to participate in governance and economic activities. Undoubtedly, it must be noted that the execution of the programs and initiatives of the ministry may have a tangential relationship to the remaining 4 priorities of the 8-point agenda of Mr. President, and we are not unmindful of this. Indeed, we consider a multifaceted and multi-pronged approach to the attainment of our core objectives as a critical success factor. Accordingly, the ministry shall engage with other ministries, departments, and agencies as state governments towards addressing all issues impacting the attainment of our national food security objectives. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, under our watch, shall be guided by some lessons learned in the implementation of the National Agricultural Technology Innovation Policy, NATIP, which was launched for 2022 to 2027. Many of the initiatives and programs being implemented by the ministry from 2022 to date were the focus of our engagements with the ministry staff. We also benefited from briefings on ongoing projects for our development partners. Accordingly, and going forward, all the programs and initiatives of the ministry shall be completely aligned to attaining these 4 presidential priorities. In doing so, we are currently reviewing existing projects to ensure due diligence in achieving the alignment with minimal distortions while keeping confidence-building measures in place to get the total buy-in of our stakeholders as partners in progress. To this end, the Ministry is in the process of carrying out a robust stakeholder analysis that will produce a working stakeholder map showing who does what, where and how, and what are the mutually beneficial areas for the smallholder farmers, large-scale farmers, processors, marketers, and the organized private sector. This in itself will bring about resource use efficiency while reducing duplication and wastages. It is a known mantra that organizations are charged to think outside the box. We at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, we have decided to think without the box. This becomes more profound given the current state of our national food security, for which Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR declared a national state of emergency on Thursday, 13 July 2023. Indeed, the current state of food security is threatened by issues of availability and affordability. Furthermore, malnutrition and the rates of food inflation requires that we work all year round to ensure increased food production, while putting in place measures to make food available, accessible, affordable, and the right nutrition on a sustainable basis.
The minister spoke on the challenges the sector is facing, harping on the effect of climate change and the need to mitigate and plan for it.
The underlying challenges noted above call for innovation and trending solutions which are better understood when we recount the challenges of insecurity, youth unemployment, and our increasing population and attendant competition for the same prime agricultural land for mass housing schemes and other competing developmental projects. Nigeria is expected to reach 400 million by 2050, which is just around the corner. This is not all. Indeed, climate change poses an even greater challenge, as was noted by Mr. President in his speech to the just concluded 78th United Nations General Assembly on. Thus, I quote, he said, "Northern Nigeria is hounded by desert encroachment on once arable land. Our south is pounded by the rising tide of coastal flooding and erosion. In the middle, the rainy season brings floods that kill and displace multitudes." End of quote. All these challenges require not just a change in tactics and approach, but injection of new knowledge, innovation, skills, techniques, technology, and value orientation. Furthermore, climate change is now a very high impact and high likelihood event, and we need to mitigate and plan for it if we're to guarantee sustainable food and nutrition security for Nigerians. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to specifically note that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR has demonstrated total political will to transform the agriculture and food security of our dear country by not only changing the name to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, but also making food security the #1 presidential priority of his agenda. I therefore want to assure all stakeholders that the issue of political will as an impediment to policy actions is now a foregone issue. Today, I'm very pleased to present to you our focal areas that hinges on integration, sustainability, and resilience to our challenges. These span the immediate, short, medium, and long term as presented below.
On the next dry season farming for the year 2023, the minister said preparatory action has begun and he has carried out, and some of these actions have gotten to 70% ahead of the November dry season farming. Let's listen to him.
The immediate priority actions, that is ongoing and to the end of this year, 2023. The most pressing actions we are currently handling is preparation for the next dry season farming, beginning from November 2023. To this end, some preparatory activities have been carried out and many others are at advanced stages. 1. Certification of available planting materials for some food security crops in readiness for dry season farming. 2. Aggressive promotion and preparations for dry season farming, which commences from November this year. 3. Implementation of the dry season wheat production, starting in November 2023 as part of the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro Pocket (NAGS-AP) projects funded by the African Development Bank. Under this scheme, the target is to produce wheat of over 70,000 hectares across the wheat production zone of the country and an expected yield of 875,000 metric tons to our food reserve. Blending of appropriate fertilizers to support this year's dry season farming while making provisions for next year's farming season well in advance. Providing the trainer for extension agents involved in dry season farming in collaboration with wheat producing states and other partners such as flour mills. Furthermore, arrangements are also at advanced stage for dry season farming of rice, maize, and other horticultural crops. 5. Hold the National Agriculture and Food Security Summit in November 2023 to bring all stakeholders together for the development of a national action plan for food security with an implementation and sustainability strategy. Number 6, to hold the National Council of Agriculture and Food Security (NCAP) meeting in Cross River State in November 2023 to develop a strategic operational plan for federal, state, local government joint implementation plans and strategies. Review the mechanisms and processes for delivering fertilizer and agro-pesticides input to farmers under a transparent and accountable regime. This will be part of the main agenda at both the summit and the National Council of Agriculture and Food Security meetings in November this year. Number 8 will be to distribute pasture seeds and cuttings for dry season pasture and further development for livestock productivity beginning November 2023. The second issue is the short-term priority actions, which will begin in 2023 to 2024. Number 1 will be agriculture and food security stakeholders analysis and mapping. That is to make, number 2 is to make significant investment in animals, feed crop, fodder and pasture production as an antidote to farmers-herders clashes by focusing the development of paddocks, foliage, and fodder estates equipped with necessary facilities for all year-round production. Number 3, strengthen agriculture and food security institutions and repositioning them for the tasks ahead. Number 4, reform the National Agricultural Research System to serve as an engine for growth, for innovative solutions to strategic value chains, increase productivity yields of our food security and export crops, livestock and fisheries. Number 5, establish two new national gene bank facilities, each for crop and animal respectively, to conserve our fast eroding genetic resources for food security. Number 6, fast track the takeoff and operations of the National Agricultural Development Fund. Number 7, develop a national framework for proper coordination and alignment of all ongoing and future development partners' projects to our national priorities. Number 8, develop innovative communication, monitoring, evaluation, learning, and accountability platforms that guarantees continuous interface among all critical stakeholders to ensure 24/7 engagement and field reporting. ICT tools will be deployed to support these platforms for the facilitation of e-extension services at scale. Number 9, to develop a stakeholder engagement and communication strategy for agriculture and food security. Number 10, develop a new strategy for strengthening agricultural infrastructure and provision of support to new farm types, which shall be unveiled before the end of the year. Number 11, prepare a joint action plan with the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to unblock the huge irrigation potentials of the River Basin Development Authorities and other floodplains in the country to guarantee all year round food production. It is very important to note the directives of Mr. President when he declared the national state of emergency on food security. Thus, I quote where he said there must be an urgent synergy between the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Water Resources to ensure adequate irrigation of farmlands and to guarantee the food is produced all year round. End of quote. It is on this note that the Ministry shall make strategic investment in renewable irrigation solutions like the solar power irrigation pumps for smallholder farmers. Number 12, conduct a comprehensive review of all existing agricultural laws and legislation to fast-track necessary amendments and enactments to support farmers' welfare and private sector participation in agriculture and food security. Number 13, to develop a standard framework and guide for ease of doing agricultural and food security, EDEFS, operations and projects and business in Nigeria. Number 14, identify all available vacant farmlands in various federal government institutions, that is universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, unity schools, federally owned regimented areas like the military, police and paramilitary allocated vacant arable lands to bring them into food production to enhance our food security indices. Number 15, to collaborate and partner with states to revive secondary school farms to enhance food security and agribusiness enterprises. Number 16, to promote urban agriculture that is technology enabled and especially driven by innovation and passion of our teeming youths. Number 17, enhance the implementation of the National Livestock Transformation Plan for increased productivity and job creation. Number 18 is to deepen engagement between farmers, herders, traditional institutions, and communities to promote peaceful coexistence and conflict resolution. Number 19, to develop and promote a performance-based agricultural extension system. 20, promote the establishment of agricultural marketing incubation centers, that is agribusiness development centers for youth and women across the 6 geopolitical zones. 21, capacity building to strengthen the farm input regulatory functions to enable them to play their regulatory role to checkmate the infiltration of adulterated farm inputs, that is fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides. 22, institutionalize in the ministry and consolidation of the Nigerian food system dashboard for informed quality planning, policy decision, and information dissemination on the state of food and nutrition in the country. Lastly, 23, on the short term, to ensure the development of a robust and sustainable innovation ecosystem, a call for application for agro-innovation, enterprise and venture development competition targeting Nigerian youth is also being developed. We're moving on to the medium-term actions, that is from 2024 to 2026. where number 1 will be development of a digital ICT mobile-based agro-industry system and e-extension platforms to support farmers through the establishment of the national centers in the 6 agro-ecological zones of Nigeria, while the Command and Control Office will be here in Abuja. Number 2, meat, dairy, eggs, fish, and other protein from animal sources will receive our special intervention to increase productivity target of annual growth of 10% year on year. Number 3, our interventions will accelerate the uptake of minimum viable products from our institutions and agencies in the agricultural mechanization and implements production space in Nigeria for full commercialization by the private sector investment. Number 4, development of comprehensive soil fertility mapping and soil information system for food security. Number 5, development of implementation of the National Farmers Soil Health Card Scheme to increase productivity. Next is upscaling and outscaling of various agricultural value chain projects in crops, livestock, fisheries, and support services under the annual appropriation and special interventions. 7, using fintech solutions, wallets shall be created for all financial disbursements to deliver directly to the targeted end users. Priority shall be given to the use of digital and DAI solutions to reform Bank of Agriculture and Nigeria Agriculture Insurance Corporation, among others. Number 8, conduct standard feasibility and viability studies for community boards operations in Nigeria. Set up a world-class accredited laboratories in our research institutions that will receive and be governed by international standard organizations, ISO certification, and other regional, continental, and international permits to validate the quality of our exports and certification before shipment. Number 10, to develop a new intergovernmental partnership framework for the implementation of mutually beneficial agricultural projects between federal, state, and local governments. We're also looking at how to strengthen the commodity exchange for agriculture in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade, and Investment. Number 12 is to revive and promote home economics and food and nutrition knowledge transfers and practices at the state and local government levels under the watch of the First Lady of the Federal Republic and the First Ladies at state levels for food and nutrition security. 13, development and promotion of corporate models for impactful agricultural development across the various agricultural value chains. Last, promotion and strengthening of agro-rangers to include other paramilitary to assist in solving the problems of civil insecurity at the farm level.
What are you talking about?
The next is the long-term actions from 2024 to 2027. Development of a national agricultural database for planning and implementation of agriculture and food security programs and initiatives. We are committed to working with the relevant MDAs, private sector, and international development partners to co-create a functional digital transformation platforms that will facilitate data-driven precision farming, climate resilience, and smart agricultural practices, including e-extension services. 2, to carry out technology and ICT-enabled farm and farmers enumeration and mapping in collaboration with states, local governments, and development partners. We also intend to reposition the universities of agriculture, veterinary medicines, and faculties of agriculture and veterinary medicines to play key roles in our agricultural transformation through the development of practical approaches for production and mechanization. We are set to unlock the job creation potentials of cold chain systems by encouraging private sector participation in community cold chain enterprises.
With the reform of the agriculture research system, ensuring all year-round farming and strengthening the institutions of agriculture, no doubt, the sector will wear a new facelift. That's it on Agric Today on this episode. Join us again, same time, same station next week. Don't forget to follow us on our YouTube and other social media handles at ARCN TV every week. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin, saying bye.